Well, this is it. We have packed this van to the brim. You can see here, it's just everything is stacked. Fully stacked for our trip to San Diego. So we're definitely getting our money's worth out of this van this week.
Yeah, so welcome back to the vlog. Please forgive my voice as I've been under the weather for the last couple of days. So it sounds like I'm an octave lower, but it is what it is. Anyway, we're gearing up here to go on a trip to San Diego. Now there's no in-transit footage. Voila, here we are at the Airbnb. And as you can see, the accommodations are much, much better than if we were to hit a hotel and, get a suite or whatever. 3-bed, 2-bath. I mean, you can't beat it. Got our own kitchen. And you are seeing right. That is us, Josh, myself, and Augie, after our 4-hour trip, just chilling in the living room, going over some pre-production. And that ended up being like the whole thing for this trip was us doing pre-production. And the best part about that was like we did do some pre-production beforehand before we got here, in the days leading up to this. But the pre-production that we did was more about scheduling and time and writing the script and so on and so forth. We were working on the shot list and stuff like that. But this is the huge benefit of all of that pre-production that we did, and I kind of talked about this on the last video. It was about 2 videos ago, and if you didn't watch that one, I'll put a link, a little card up here on the top of the video so you can check it out. But I talk about, planning enough time to get things done, planning for corporate videos, and what was done there was done even better on this second shoot. Josh and I really put our heads together in pre-production, and we were like, okay, if we're going to do this, then how much time do we need for, say, in particular, this shoot right here in this room? We did some previs, like we were like, hey, send us some pictures of the room. Just, text us some iPhone pictures of the room so that we can get a feel for it. And so then we estimated, okay, how long is it going to take us to set up camera? What lenses are we going to shoot it on? Where are we going to place cameras? Where are we going to place, diffusion? Where are we going to place the light? Where are we going to place the boom mic? All of that good stuff. And I have to say that our planning really just bore fruit for us. It was really on point, and up until this point, this shoot here, this has been the best that we've ever scheduled a shoot before. In the sense of the way we usually do it is we will schedule a shoot where we are so run and gun. And if you watch some of the beginning vlogs on this channel, you're seeing that we're going and going and going and going fast. And that's not necessarily the case here. We're going fast, but we gave ourselves enough time to set up without, beating ourselves up like, man, why didn't we give ourselves more time? No, we gave ourselves just enough time. And then we gave ourselves enough time to pick up and move to the next room, which is what you see here. Give us enough time to set everything up, and then even put our little modeling head. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. But we put that head in there for lighting reference so that you don't always have to lose a man by putting him there as a model. But we had enough time for everything. And when the interview was over, and just like with any corporate video, if you shoot corporate videos, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're planning to get into corporate videos, here's something you need to know. These people are good at what they do. These people that you're interviewing are good at what they do. The job that they're doing and the job that they're making money on, they're good at that. They're not good at being on-camera talent. Now, that's not to say that you won't, on the rare occasion, get somebody who's like a CEO or, the boss that ends up talking to their employees on a regular basis that do a lot of public speaking. These people are really good in front of the camera, not a problem. But for the most part, everybody else is not. But as I'm saying that, this dude right here who is speaking to the camera, he was really good. Now, he is one of the supervisors. He is one of the guys that manages other men, so he has to go out there and talk to them and, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. But he also said, I believe he said that his girlfriend or his wife was, managing social media or something like that. And so, it's not his first go around at it. So for him, he actually really was good. He was very fast. We did his, and we did about 4 or 5, 6 takes for him, but they were all good. And they were all the same. So we were like, there's no point in beating a dead horse here. It's good. We're done. Let's keep moving on. And as I've been saying so far, the scheduling here made it perfect. I mean, we had so much time to do what we needed to do. We weren't overdoing it, and we weren't underdoing it either. So if there was something like, you know what, we need to get this shot, or we want to set up something for this shot, it wasn't just, spray and pray. It was like, no, let's get what we planned for, and if we have time to get some more, then let's get some more. So I'm very happy with the way that this was scheduled. And if there's anything that I could share with you, make sure that you're having your meeting with your clients, figuring out what they want for the video and how you want to put it together. In other words, for us, you see us, it's more than just a softbox and a camera and a mic. It's a bigger setup. We want to use the larger diffusion. Remember, the softer the light, that means the larger the light source. That means, putting, large sheets of diffusion in front of them and closer to them, which makes the light even softer. So the idea is it's going to take a little bit longer for the nicer setup, for the nicer product. So we planned for that. And when you do that and you're charging what you're worth and your client knows what you're worth, it's all going to work out. It's all going to come together. And, we had this client, which in the last video I talked about, they're a dream client. They're the kind of client that's like, hey, we want you to make a video. Okay, how much? This is how much it'll be. And they're like, cool, no problem. And when we get on location, they're like, hey, we know you know what you're doing, so we're not going to try to step in. If they give us ideas, they're not like, it has to be this way. It's been a great experience working with this client. They're not afraid to pay what we ask, and they trust our judgment in what we're doing for them, and that's been great. That's how you want all of your clients to be. But anyway, we are getting some supporting B-roll here, and again, this is one of those things. If you watch my last video, this is not like a commercial where you're working with actors, but everything that's going on right here is staged. It is scripted. We have these folks doing this. I mean, none of them were in here. We were like, okay, everybody, you guys can come over here and get on some computers and pull up some schematics and, start, messing around with them. And they did it for us. So in that way, it is staged. But at the very same time, none of these folks are actors. They are all employees that work there, and they all have their respective jobs. And so they're not actors, and I'm not expecting to get an actor's performance out of them. And that's our job, is to know what the client wants and then present that in the best light that we can. And if we can get some employees to do the acting for us, then great. Let's script that out in a way where we're not asking too much from them, and that comes through camera. You don't want, an employee to be an actor and they have no acting experience whatsoever, and that comes through on camera where it's like, that's horrible. What you want is something that they can deliver and will look good on camera. So I haven't spoken too much about our setup so far. That's because pretty much everything up to this point has been our usual setup. We're running we're running our 720D light through 2 sets of diffusion, whether that be a softbox or we're running it through the 5-in-1 and then running it through another large piece of diffusion, usually the 8x silk. So, same old, same old. But for this, it was, again, one of those run and guns, like, we know we're going to do that. What exactly we're going to have them do, other than, hey, we're going to have them take stuff out of the bins and put it onto there, their cart or their basket or whatever it is that they gather their stuff with. So as we got into the place, we're like, okay, the lighting is not that great. So as you could see up at the top of, the talent's head, there is a spot of light. As we came into the place, I was like, you know what? Let's take the 720. Let's put the Fresnel on and spot it on that wall right there. What I'm looking for is a bounce, but I want it like a far side bounce. In other words, I want the light to be coming off of the far side of him. You want to film towards the shadow side to get that dimension and contrast. And so bouncing the light with just the can, it spilled everywhere and it became flat. So I was like, let me try to see what this looks like with the Fresnel on. Put the Fresnel, spotted it in too tight, and it wasn't giving off enough light. So Josh came in and he flooded it out a little more, and it was perfect. It was enough. It's not really in the scene, but it was enough and bright enough to be that far side light on the talent's face and skin. So it looked really nice. So I was very pleased with that. And that's one of those things where, I would have preferred the spotlight attachment, the Leica, the Leica spotlight attachment that you could put on these COB lights, but we don't have one, and they're pretty expensive. And with that money, we always find something else to do with it. But that would have been the ideal thing, because then we could have used some cutters, and it could be a lot sharper. The magnification would have been a little bit better, but hey, we work with what we got, and it ended up working really well. So we were very happy with it. Change up. Thinking on the fly can be the name of the game sometimes. And, if you do this enough times, if you know the kind of look that you're going for and the type of lighting that you like, it just becomes a matter of, if you're doing this on the fly and you're not, pre-set up or whatever, like we were in this particular case that you just saw, knowing what you want and then finding a way to get it. And again, once again, if you scheduled it right, you have enough time, then you can get that done. And that's what it was for us in our case. We had enough time to get it done, and we got it done. We were able to play with it, figure it out, and hey, that came out really great. I personally, if we're gonna bounce a light, I want it in a particular way. I hate to flood light into a corner, because that just, it spills light everywhere. So I really like the fact that we got to use the Fresnel. That helped out a lot. So stay tuned, because I got a part 2 of this guy coming up here in the near future. Thanks.